Oh, hello everyone, it's Susie again. Look, I want to thank all my subscribers for all the gorgeous emails and comments that you sent me, me stopping doing my YouTube. So really, honestly appreciate it. Really touched me. There's some lovely people out there. And I didn't realize it was so important to you guys for me to keep doing this. I guess, I was just looking at it from my own personal view. I was getting a bit jack of it, and I wasn't, honestly, I didn't want to, expose myself to these horrible people that were sending me horrible stuff, and I was a bit sensitive, and honestly, my life is good and that sort of thing. But some of the emails I had from people, they really touched me. Excuse me, I just had a honey sandwich. It's delicious. And they really touched me, and I felt really sad about some of the emails. So I've sort of changed my mind because and a woman can definitely change her mind. I mean, I can certainly do that, and I can certainly admit when I'm wrong. Also, I think I also was wrong about saying Ripple was security, because I think now I believe that it's not. So I was wrong about that as well. Because like Brad Garlinghouse said, XRP does utility. It has utility, and security doesn't have utility. And I think that's probably the thing that stuck with me. So I admit when I'm wrong, and I was wrong on that one. And I can front up to you guys and say, yes, I was. And I've been very frustrated, over time with the YouTube thing. But some of the letters I got from my emails and things like that, I realised that there's some people out there that really just like hearing from me, even though they don't know me, and it really touched me. And there was one which I'll just show you, okay? One of many, but this one really, really upset me a bit. This one said, "Hello, Susan, you don't know me. My name is David and I live in California, Lottie, California, which is the northern part of the state. I'm sure I won't be able to change your mind, but I wanted to share with you how much I look forward to watching your presentations on YouTube. You're witty, have some dry humour." Yeah, I do. "And I can tell you're kind and you care for people you don't even know." And I do. I mean, that's the bottom line. I actually do care about people I don't know. And, I care about you, my subscribers, and I do care about this young man. I feel this guy's a young man. And I don't know, I got so many beautiful emails from people. Anyway, you're witty and some dry humour, and you can tell you're kind and you care for people you don't even know. And it's true, I do. I do, because there's so many people that don't care in the world, and I'm one of the people that honestly does. And you can come and see my life, and I can prove it to you if you don't believe me. But anyway, he goes on to say, "I'm saddened by your decision to not do YouTube videos anymore because of some jerks making stupid comments on your comment section. Just by being who you are, natural and truthful, you've changed my way of thinking about cryptocurrency and XRP for sure. Unfortunately, I don't have enough money, enough for your personal advice on investing. I just hope one day in the future, and I'm sure I'll speak for many people, you will think about coming back on YouTube channel and bless us with your wealth, knowledge, and expertise. You will be truly missed. Sincerely, David." And then he said, "P.S. if I'm ever in Australia, I would love to have tea with you, lol." And I don't know that, look, I've got so many emails, and I want to thank you all for, honestly, your support. You're all just absolutely gorgeous, and I love all my subscribers, seriously, and honestly, I really do. But this one particularly really, I don't know why, it just touched me a lot. And honestly, I have so many emails that did touch me. And I think, I admit I probably, just got a bit, too emotional that day, and just a bit jack of it all. And look, I'm an emotional person. I'm a Scorpio. That's just the way it is, what I think, I say, my emotions are on my sleeve, so to speak. I don't lie, I don't bullshit. What you see is what you get, and that's just the way I am. I can't change that. Whether I'm up, down, grumpy, whatever, you see it all. That's who I am. I can't change that. What you get is what you see. There's nothing behind that. It's just who I am. So, but honestly, I do try to do my best, and when I see things like this, where you know, people can't afford things. I mean, and I certainly don't want to be a service for the wealthy. That's no way do I want to be that. I've never been pro the wealthy. I think the wealthy have way too much money. 1% of the world owns the assets of 95% of all of us. You know, 4.1 billion people live in poverty, abject poverty, out of 7 billion. And I think the system is totally wrong in every way. And honestly, I think cryptocurrency, the blockchain, could absolutely, you know, bring back some sort of meritocracy, you know, could actually make, you know, the humble people like yourself, like myself, you know, hopefully, you know, put some money in our pocket. There was a time, you know, a couple of years ago where I, you know, I couldn't even afford 73-cent can of beans, and I had to, you know, my poor Gussie was on 9 tablets a day, and it was, you know, costing me a fortune. But I'd go without food just for my beautiful Gussie, my cat. So I know what it's like not to have money, and I do know what it's like to be poor. And I'm certainly not a service for the wealthy. So, and I don't want to be. And you know, so I really hope people didn't think, you know, I was just doing it for the money, because I wasn't. But when I read stuff like this, I think I'll change my mind. That's my prerogative. I'm a woman. I can do that. And I'm certainly happy to say when I'm wrong, and, you know, I reconsider things. I'm not in stone. And that's just all there is to it. So thank you all for your love and your beautiful comments and emails and your support. And thank you, David, for sending me this beautiful email. And I would be happy to do some emails. Do some YouTube. So I'm very sorry for, you know, putting you all through that. So thank you, guys, and thank you very much for your support. Thank you. Hey, guys, I just wanted to do a quick video on XRP and Ripple. What's been happening, and obviously price is sort of around 35 cents. It's pretty low, and I certainly believe the price doesn't justify the fundamental news and the fundamental value of Ripple and its technology. And I do believe that this is the buying opportunity of a lifetime, I have to say. So I thought I'd just go through that. Look, this is for education only. It isn't financial advice, but I just wanted to go through the channel for the last sort of week or so and just do an update on what's happening there and where I see the huge opportunities are. Ripple, basic news that's come out, the biggest news for Ripple at the moment is they're building a custodian business, which is huge. Custody in itself is a very, very profitable business. One of the largest custodians in America is BNY Mellon, Bank Mellon, BNY, and also State Street, and those guys make a fortune from custodian business. From there, Ripple could easily get a banking license. They could easily set up a crypto exchange. They could easily get a Standard & Poor's credit rating, basically, which is what the institutional people need. They need credit ratings. If they got a credit rating, it would open the floodgates of trillions and trillions of dollars of investment funds from fund managers like BlackRock, who have got 5.1 trillion, Vanguard, Fidelity, Northern Trust, sovereign wealth funds, and central banks, and the list goes on and on and on. From there, they could be a wealth manager, they could be an investment manager, they could be a huge hedge fund manager. Ripple has an ICO platform, as you know. They have an instant cash flow settlement system that no one else has, and they can settle anywhere in the world. Cash flow, not payments, but cash flow. They have incredible people in IT. Basically, they're known to the International Monetary Fund, the United Nations, the Federal Reserve, the Bank of England. They've been courting these organisations for years and years, and they're known to charities and just lots of people. They've been talking to the Federal Reserve, the IMF, the Bank of England, particularly for probably since 2015. They have some heavy hitters in terms of people in their organisation. They've even got the economic advisor that was to Clinton and Obama. So, you know, they're pretty amazing, I think. Ripple, the XRP is not just a bank coin. It is a coin for you and me and everyone. We all need cash flow settlement, not payment, cash flow settlement, instant cash flow settlement. No one can get in volume instant cash flow settlement anywhere in the world. At 35 cents, I believe it's a joke. It is a once in a lifetime opportunity. The markets do forget. Look at 2008, 2009. I was working. It was a nightmare. I thought at the time when I was working, I thought the markets would never ever improve. Everyone was so depressed. It was just horrible. The market day in, day out, relentlessly sold off every day, relentlessly for about 19 months. Relentlessly. The Dow before the 2008 GFC, the global financial crisis, which I hasten to add started with the subprime market, with the housing market coming down and the bad lending deals to the housing market. The Dow before that was 14,500 at its worst during the 09-08 GFC. It got down to something like 5,300 or something. Now the Dow has got back to 26,500, and again we're still at 25,600. And honestly, history does repeat itself. Like the cryptocurrency market, down on its lows, it's been selling relentlessly for 8, 9, 10 months. But markets can change, and they often do very, very quickly. So let's just have a look. What do we mean when we talk about a custodian business? And custodian business is extremely lucrative because it's annuity income. It's income that comes into the revenue stream of a bank or a corporate religiously, day in, day out, month over month. It's annuity income. So the income stream is continuous income. It's not lumpy. It's continuous monthly income that a business or a bank can rely on, and often, it's high fees, and often companies or banks don't change their custody for years. Okay, it's a bit like their IT. Custody generally is not changed for years, and often the custodian, whether it be BNY Mellon or State Street, have to have a very good credit rating because they're actually holding the assets on behalf of the client. So BNY Mellon, they were previously ranked as the largest global custodian by assets for the last 3 years, and State Street have regained the world's largest custodian by assets. But the thing is, the business earns a fortune. The custody business, they've basically got something like 33.8 trillion of assets under management, which is huge. If you have a look at this, obviously this article here, you can have a look at it. What do we mean when we talk about custodian business? It's a business that makes money by charging a fee for services as the custodian, as the holder of those financial assets on behalf of an institution or a corporate investor, such as mutual funds, insurance companies, foundations, endowments, and other investment pools. But they don't just look after the assets. They do a market value on those assets, mark to market every day. They value those assets. They follow up any cash flow discrepancies, any settlement discrepancies. Say, for example, if they're holding equity custodian assets or bond custodian assets, they'll follow up missing coupons, they'll follow up missing dividends, they'll follow up all sorts of corporate actions, those sort of things. So custodians do quite a lot. Any sort of corporate actions, any sort of buyback on equities, any sort of splits in equity prices, any sort of new issuance. As I said before, they'll follow up on missing bond coupons. Bonds have coupons. In America, you can trade the principal and the coupons separately, so they'll follow up on those. Sometimes the market valuation of a portfolio can be skewy because the bond coupon has gone missing, and they need to follow those things up. So there's a lot of administration involved, but the reality is a custody business is a very lucrative business in terms of generating continuous non-lumpy, lovely annuity income. And that's what every business wants, is an annuity income that they can rely on, year out, so their business becomes even more valuable. Now, Ripple can get into this business, and they are getting into this business. And they're getting in this business. David Schwartz is out there, plus a couple of other people from Polyneck, and basically they are looking for people to expand their custodian business. So it's seriously, seriously big news. If we look at, again, BNY Mellon, what they do, they do asset servicing, which is what I've said. They do asset and wealth management, and they trade interest income type securities. Now, again, Ripple could do all this, all this. The custody side of the business is a huge part. It would represent at least 30% of their company's stock valuation, because it is big, profitable business. With that, they become also one of the leading asset and wealth managers, and they also make proprietary investments in financial securities of all types, borrowing, long-term, short-term, you need it. So there's huge ways, once you go into a custodian business, of making even more and more money. So if we go to the next slide, what do we got here? The next slide. If we look at the Bank of New York Mellon, they're quite huge. Market cap 57.8 billion. Again, they generate, in sales in a year, billions. If we look at this sales billion, 17.28 billion. Their shares are around 52 US. Quarterly sales every quarter, just recently, was basically over $1 billion and a bit. $1 billion and a bit, at least 5 billion, and honestly, their profitability is quite incredible. So it's an ongoing thing, and it's a very, as I said, it's a very, very good business to be in. So let's look at the reality of the news for Ripple, and I've only started from the 1st of August, because with Ripple there is just so much news. Seriously, it just comes out. The cryptocurrency never does anything, but it's honestly got to be the most positive fundamental news that I've seen in a long time. Again, we had Michael Harrington, who has a hedge fund, and his hedge fund is based with 100% with the base current cryptocurrency being XRP. Reason why he said that is because you have instant cash flow settlement. He said they sent 50 million in XRP. It took 3 seconds and 30 cents. This is fact, people. This is not FUD or anything else or crap. This is fact. Ripple can send 50 million XRP or dollars or whatever it might be within 3 seconds, and it's going to cost you less than 30 cents. There's the link there. Again, San Francisco firm launches a cryptocurrency exchange with XRP as the base currency. DCEX will become the first cryptocurrency exchange to use XRP as its base currency, available both to retail and institutional. And I can tell you why they're doing it, because it's instant cash flow settlement. You can't rely on Ethereum Classic, Bitcoin, any of the others for instant cash flow settlement against any currency. You just can't. The third thing, Ripple has their Swell conference this year. I think it's in October again. They've got President Clinton going to that, the ex-president. These guys just know everyone, seriously. And it's all about networking and getting their name out there. Again, they're doing more charity. They're helping Madonna with the poor orphans in Malawi, helping them to raise funds. So not only do they give money away to schools and obviously Ellen's Wildlife Fund and all sorts of things. They're helping, with other things. They're really, what they do is pretty amazing. SBI, which is one of the biggest investment banks in Japan, has been an early investor in Ripple. They were an early investor in Ripple way back in 2015. This organization is a seriously, seriously savvy organization. One of the biggest investment banks in Japan. They are building a cryptocurrency exchange in the US, which will also have derivatives on it, over-the-counter contracts, derivative markets, plus cryptocurrency and everything else. These guys have just taken over Clear Markets, which also have the approval to operate in Japan, the United States, the United Kingdom, and a few other places. And, they have technology and brokerage services to be able to do swap execution facilities, derivative execution facilities, and also they can, they've got authority from the Commodities Future Trading Commission to do derivatives. Now, the derivative market, to give you an idea, just on a daily basis, is a 1.2 quadrillion market. Okay, not trillion, quadrillion. 1.2 quadrillion, which is 1,000 trillion. That's the derivatives market. Okay, the exchange, foreign exchange market is 5.1 trillion daily. That's when things aren't busy. Okay, so when things are busy and there's been rate changes and the SWIFT has decided to unpeg itself from the euro or whatever, like we saw in 2017, the FX market could do 10 trillion a day. Or the derivatives markets, which normally, the total volume in a day is about 1.2 quadrillion. When things are seriously, seriously busy, it could do more. So we're talking 1,000 trillion in a day. Now, with SBI and Ripple getting into this market, they are basically focusing on the derivatives market. The derivatives can be futures, it can be options, it can be warrants, it can be swaps, it can be forward rate agreements, it can be all different types of option structures. It can be forward curves, it can be swap curves. That's what the derivatives market is, okay? The derivatives can be a derivation of the underlying product. You can have a futures on wheat, you can have a futures on equity, you can have a futures on coal, anything. So, this is huge what these guys are doing. SBI has also recently taken over Laxium Technologies, which aims to mine cryptocurrency using wind power as well. And these guys are very, very clever, I have to say. And they love Ripple. They said that Ripple, the CEO of SBI, I think his name's Kitao or something, basically said XRP, like I did, will be the #1 coin in the world of cryptocurrency going forward. And I believe exactly that. 99.9999995%. Okay, I'm absolutely of the belief that, and I believe that for 2 years or more since I found out about the technology of Ripple. Okay, no doubt in my mind. When we go, put myself up there, I was annoying myself. When we look at SBI Holdings, it's a financial services company. The company operates in 3 business segments. The financial service segment, engaged in the provision of financial products and related services focusing on securities, banks and insurance. The asset management segment operates and manages investments, partnerships, investing in domestic, international venture companies, which are active in information technology, environment, energy, asset management, and financial sector. Also the biotech related center and primarily engaged in development, sale, pharmaceutical, health, foods, cosmetics, and the like, all sorts of things. These guys really know their stuff. Okay, number 8. Again, SBI Holdings has partnered with China's OneConnect that serves 468 banks in China, and literally has, lots and lots and lots of clients. Now, as you know, SBI are basically very XRP centric. They love XRP. Now, don't forget, Ripple is also in China with their, they've got a client called Lian, which is a huge connection, and they are an importing, exporting type business, a networking type business, which are very large in China. Ripple's literally the only cryptocurrency that can operate in China. Forget Neo, it doesn't, even though it says it does. And basically they have a real client there, Lian, but also vis-a-vis by SBI doing a partnership with OneConnect, which serves a lot of banks in China. This is a huge connection. Number 9, CoinDesk. Alpha Point helps launch XRP-based cryptocurrency exchange. Now, the Australians are smart too, because we did it as well. We've just launched under CoinJar, XRP cryptocurrency wealth fund or something, but we'll come to that. So we're pretty smart, us guys. Number 10, Ripple Board of Directors, Susan Athey, Bill Gates affiliated with Ripple, using XRP of Mojaloop. Bill Clinton will be a keynote speaker for Ripple at the upcoming Ripple event. What do they all have in common? They've all attended affiliate with the Bilderberg group in their lifetime. Now, I didn't know what this group was, but some of my clients in my Slack channel told me about this and posted this. What is Bilderberg? What is Bilderberg Group? Just a club for the super elites to discuss secret world-changing things moving on. Christine Lagarde is the CEO of the International Monetary Fund, and she is affiliated with the Bilderberg Group. With Chris Larsen, Executive Chairman of Ripple, on the International Monetary Fund, high-level advisory group. If you ask me, Chris Larsen's the Trojan horse in the IMF to say that to be in Christine Lagarde's ear for her sway to the Bilderberg Group. Now, apparently the Bilderberg Group is the group of the elite, and it's held every year. And if you get an invite to that, you are someone, apparently, in America. So apparently this is the most elite group that you could be invited to. And it's people of considerable wealth that can change the life as we know it, can change the processes that we know as we know it, and can change the way business is conducted as we know it. So this group is, even though obviously it's a very secretive group, can literally change the way we know life and present incredible opportunities. And obviously Ripple is in this group. So these guys are everywhere. They're absolutely everywhere. They're absolute professionals. Whoever ever said that Ripple don't know what they're doing, like some other idiots out there. Oh God, I promise I wasn't going to use that word. I'm not going to use that word. Sorry. Delete that one. Like people out there, they just honestly don't know what they're talking about because, they're just so well connected. Again, someone, number 11, Roger Ver, whatever his name is, apologises for Ripple XRP ledger spreading fake news. Now, there you go. There was someone apologising for spreading fake news about Ripple and XRP ledger. And that guy thinks behind Bitcoin Cash. And he had to apologise in public to David Schwartz. So XRP goes live on CoinSquare and is open for trading. CoinSquare is a Canadian exchange. So the Canadians are very clever as well. Very clever indeed. I need a glass of water. So we're up to that one. Number 10, my slide 10. Bring this down. I mean, XRP is cheaper than a cup of coffee. Now let's put this in perspective. The coin is cheaper than a cup of coffee by at least 2/3. I don't know how much you pay for coffee over there, but in Australia, we pay $2.50 to $3 for a coffee. So the coin is only 10% worth of a cup of coffee, the price, and yet the technology surrounding that coin can do so much. It is just unbelievable. So, it doesn't make a lot of sense when you think about it. Also, I want to just show you very quickly also just a thing about Ripple and XRP, which Ripple put up, which I think is important as well. So, number 13, SBI Holdings using XRP within new FX pairs could explain XRP spike, and that was before, obviously that was early in the month, but now we're seeing XRP down at 35 cents because there's some news that there's a big bear out there, big bear whale that's been selling $1 billion of XRP and it's been taking the market down quite a bit. Also, Coinbase announced custodian plans, but also plans for another 40 digital assets, including XRP. I don't know why it's taken them so long, and they seem to be really banging on about Ethereum Classic, and God knows why, since Ethereum Classic's had a lot of hacks. I just don't understand what's going on with Coinbase. It's almost like they've got this hate affair with XRP, and I don't know why. Because they just delayed and putting XRP on and decided to put on Ethereum Classic instead. And Ethereum Classic doesn't do anything special, so it's beyond me. Obviously, there's politics there somewhere along the line. Rachel Lee, who I've come across, and I don't know who she is, but she's got some pretty clever things to say, I have to say. And if I do find something from someone else, I always reference it. I'm not like other people that just use them as their own. Myself, I'm very respectful of the owner of things that I put in my information to everyone, to my subscribers. And Rachel Lee has been kind enough to give me this, and I saw it on Twitter, and she's mentioned Ripple Board of Directors Gene Sperling, and she said, in her opinion, or his opinion, it's the most valuable director to Ripple. He's a senior globalist operative with deep ties to private shadow government groups. And this fellow apparently was the economic advisor to Obama and Bill Clinton. So this guy's a seriously, seriously smart guy. Also, Ripple in CoinJar launches a digital currency fund for the wealthy in Australia that want to invest in XRP. So, you know, again, another opportunity here. The Australians understand XRP and what it means for markets going forward and what it means for businesses going forward. So they've launched a digital currency fund for the wealthy, of course, to invest in XRP. So that's number 16. And all this news is only from the 1st of August. Okay, let's put some perspective. It's all only from the 1st of August. And yet the cryptocurrency coin XRP is trading for a third of the price of coffee. You know, for the third of the price of a cup of coffee. I mean, get real. Come on. Look at it for what it is practically. I mean, honestly, the valuation is just a joke. It is less, you know, you could buy, you know, a price of coffee for, I don't know, say it's $1, and this thing's trading a third of the price less than a price of coffee. I mean, that's just nutty to me. It doesn't make sense to me at all. So if we go to this, this fellow, this is him here, and this was Rachel Lee and Crypto Joe. I don't know who he is, but I noticed on Twitter. This fellow was former economic advisor to both Bill Clinton and Barack Obama, which is amazing. I mean, Ripple do understand the real heavy hitters, and they understand the people with the smarts. There is no doubt about it. And honestly, they have got the right people in. Unbelievable. If you look at their people, they've got people from Swift, they've got people from JP Morgan, Morgan Stanley, you know, seriously, seriously smart people. Number 11, and this is only up until the 4th of August, for heaven's sakes, and this is Ripple News. SBI Remit and Siam Commercial Bank partnered on RippleNet to deliver better remittance and service and lower fees for Thai workers. XRP chat, Ripple is working with the United Nations proof. A recent Twitter, someone just said this in Ripple chat, caught his attention. Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation possibly being live on the XRP ledger, and they do use, Bill and Melinda Gates do use XRP. I've seen that before, and you know, basically they are connected with XRP. 19, the making of a global currencies. A few days ago, the Prime Minister of Malta sent out a tweet about Malta being the leading trader of XRP in the world. This is an interesting tweet because it can be interpreted as to be a validating XRP and Ripple, which is exactly right. 20, real world use of Ripple and XRP has arrived. Again, XRP is being added to Wirex. So basically, there's been a burst of sign-ups and spending on that platform. So you can use XRP on Wirex. Another one here, American Express, using Ripple, XRP, and XCurrent and RippleNet. 22, the future of financial and monetary system. Again, XRP is in there, mentioned in there as well. Let's go forward. 25, and this is more news. And I mean, this is only, again, from the 1st of August. If you look in these papers here, XRP was spoken about in that. Again, crypto globalists, again, XRP, the making of a global currency. I'll get rid of these, sorry. Oops, now I've lost myself. Ripple will soon be the #1 cryptocurrency, as Brad Garlinghouse said. and a choice for the banks. And honestly, if they become the bank's choice, they'll be the people's choice. It's just that simple. You know, everyone goes to the bank, or they don't, and they do banking, right? You know, XRP and Ripple for everyone. Now, I've never thought less than that. I've always believed that Ripple will be the #1 cryptocurrency coin, the #1, and I won't go back on that. I don't care whether XRP gets down to 15 cents. For me, in a 2-year view, it is the buying opportunity of a lifetime. If I can go and buy XRP, 10 XRP for less than the price of a cup of coffee, and it's so well connected and has so much going on, and the technology works, and there isn't any doubt. I mean, where else can you buy something like that for less than a price of coffee? Seriously, for less than a cup of coffee. You can't, you know, with that opportunity. You just can't. RippleNet has transferred in the lives of workers in Japan because they get cash instantly. Again, you know, XRP can use now to buy in 200,000 online stores. Asia, North America, and Europe gravitating towards Ripple XRP. The rest of the world will follow suit. I don't make up these stories. You can look at every one of these stories. There's links to one of them, and this is pretty much what's come out since the 1st of August, and it's only just on the 9th of August my time. Okay, what else we got? A bear whale was selling, you know, $1 billion of XRP, and it looks like he had 200 million to go. I don't know why he was selling. I don't know who he is, but if you read that, you'll find out. PolySign is hiring, and Ripple is working on a custodian service business. And Mr. Shorts is the director of that business. Again, if you go into this article, really good article, I have to say, by this fellow here. It's talking about global cash management, crypto access, and XRP, and it's talking about corporates and how they manage their money. And I used to work for corporates as well. And yes, XRP can definitely be applied to corporates, no doubt about it. Also, Ping, which is a part of SBI, who took over OneConnect, basically now going and doing an IPO on the Hong Kong market for 3 billion, and they're also connected to OneConnect, the Chinese bank. Okay, so again, a very, very big connection to Ripple. Huge connection. What else so am I still going through there? That's number 31, and that's all news stories since the first, and it's not all of them because there's lots of other things, but they were the main ones. Okay, so the next one is Indonesia. Peer-to-peer lender Investory raises Series B round, led by SBI Holdings, and again SBI / Ripple. Okay, now Indonesia, I don't know whether people are aware, but Indonesia, which is near Australia, has a massive population, of something like I think it's nearly 300 mil. It's either 280 or 300 mil. But it is a massive, massive population, seriously. And it used to be a Dutch colony. So again, it's very interesting that they're in that market there. Also, if you look on this, another highlight, a crypto lawyer, Marco Santori, talks about XRP, and also talks about William Hinman, who's from the SEC, and who said some tokens can change from security to non-security. I have great respect for the people at Ripple, and says that XRP has demonstrable function use. It's a question of waiting, and it has a great deal of functionality. Now, Ripple is working on decentralizing their system more and more and more, and every day they are decentralizing that system more and more and more by putting on more XRP nodes, and you can actually look at that. Now, as I said, Ripple's accepted as payment method on Bitcoin superstores. So all that, and you can buy XRP for less than a price of a cup of coffee. And that's only the news from the 1st. So let's go to the next slide. What else? I'm missing something here. Here we go. So very simply, and again, I saw this on Twitter, and I will reference this one as well, and I normally do. Very simple valuation here. This fellow was a guy called Pemberton Rob who put this on Twitter, and he said Ripple strategic objectives to capture foreign exchange market 5.1 trillion daily, which I've told you guys. The average, and that's an average when the market's not busy. The second, to capture the derivatives market, which is a 1.2 quadrillion market, more when the market is busy. Okay. I've also told you, and I've changed it a little bit, but this is adding my information as well. Provide banks with liquidity via XRP and XRP, which is roughly about 200 trillion, okay, 180 to 200 trillion. But I split it up according to, you know, which bit I'm talking about. So again, we're looking at 95 trillion for banks, business, and, you know, businesses and corporates. Liquidity, we're talking at least 50 trillion. Fund managers, pensions, insurance, and sovereign wealth funds, liquidity, we're talking another 55 trillion. The custodian market, 0.5 trillion, which could be higher, okay? Higher than that. These are all very rough figures. But even on these rough figures, using Mr. Rob Pemberton's very simple valuation, mine was on a net present value valuation. His is just on a very simple valuation of just market cap, market totals. He said even if XRP, and I've added some more, only captures 10% of this overall market, the value, according to his simple valuation, if I put in these figures, says that the coin, one coin, should be equal $1,206. Okay, just on a very simple valuation. And I've added some more to this simple valuation. Now, to me, a coin that is trading for less than a price of a cup of coffee, and it has so much going on, you know, with the people that are driving it, and so much going on, I just find it amazing. So the last thing I want to do, this has gone a bit longer than I wanted to, is I want to also just go through the difference between Ripple and XRP, because Ripple, again, have addressed that because they're very smart people, and people were confused about that as well. So on Ripple Insights, they brought out the difference between Ripple and XRP, and I think this is really good and very simple. They said Ripple itself is a technology that the company provides the most efficient solutions for sending money globally. XRP is an independent digital asset. The XRP ledger is the open source blockchain technology behind it. Okay, XRP is the coin, and obviously this is the technology of Ripple, okay? Ripple is the software of the company and uses XRP and the XRP ledger in its product, XRapid. It does not control XRP or technology. Ripple does own 60 billion XRP, approximately 55 billion is locked in escrow. Okay, so XRP cannot be, the ledger itself cannot be owned by any single entity, just like any other ledger out there or blockchain. It's independent of any one person or business, including Ripple. XRP can trade on its own without Ripple, the technology. Again, it's software, and the Ripple is controlled by the board, founders, and employees. XRP can trade on the exchanges all it likes and is not controlled by Ripple at all. And the XRP ledger is not controlled by Ripple either, and is not owned by Ripple and cannot be owned by a single entity. Ripple itself, obviously the financial institutions will buy Ripple's products and all the money goes to Ripple. XRP is used to be on the XRP ledger and on the exchanges, and basically the founders of XRP, of Ripple, are the employees who hold stock in Ripple, okay? and anyone can own XRP. And I think that that's really good clarification of it. But obviously, XRP can operate on the exchanges by itself, but with XRapid, they use XRP, of course. So I think that's a quite a good clarity of them. I think that's an excellent bit of information there. So another thing I've done, I've actually got 2 clients in my subscription service. As you know, one's an importer, which I bought to on a YouTube, who's had terrible traditional problems with the banks for 25 years on getting exact cash flow settlement. And I've also got another client that wants to buy 100 million Aussie of XRP to pay a Chinese supplier. So what I've done is I've emailed Ripple to find out the process about them getting involved into the XRapid product so that they can actually do these transactions and do their own transactions. So I've actually emailed Ripple. What I've got back so far is this, and they've said, thank you for contacting us, we'll get back to you shortly. So I'll give you a rundown on that just to say what's happened, and we'll take it from there, because I'm really interested to see exactly how the process works from a client perspective, to see how they service my clients. So the obligatory disclaimer, I'm not a financial advisor. I'm an educator only. I don't take into account your financial position, your cash position, or anything like that. Again, cryptocurrency, very risky, but I would have to say a cryptocurrency, this is my personal view, that trades for less than a cup of coffee, a third of a price for a cup of coffee, and I need one because I'm tired. Honestly, that's just an incredible opportunity the way I see it. Anyway, guys, thank you very much, and thank you for subscribing to me, and thank you for very much support. And I look forward to talking to you another time. Thank you.